Hello everybody, welcome to my channel Grammar Fun. My name is Jaya and we will be learning grammar together. The topic that we are going to learn today is punctuation, which includes full stop, comma, capital letter, question mark, exclamation mark, apostrophe, colon, semicolon and quotation mark. So let us start with, what do you mean by punctuation? Punctuation is the name for marks used in writing. It means the symbols that we use when we write something in between the sentences to put a full stop to the sentence, to put a pause to the sentence. All these are called punctuation marks. Now let us look at, why is punctuation important? What is the importance of punctuation? Why should we put punctuation? Punctuation is to help understanding and correct meaning. It helps us to understand the correct meaning of what we have written or what we are reading. The punctuation marks that we are going to learn today are full stop, comma, capital letter, question mark, exclamation mark, apostrophe, colon, semicolon, and quotation mark. Let us look at the first punctuation mark, that is full stop. The first point is, it marks the end of a declarative sentence or an imperative sentence. Now, as we all know, a declarative sentence declares something, it informs us something, whereas an imperative sentence is an order, request, or an advice. So if it is an advice or a request or an order, or if it is a normal sentence which informs us something, at the end of that we use punctuation mark. Full stop. Example, the sun shines brightly. It is a declarative sentence. So at the end we used a punctuation mark. Full stop. Put the books on the table. It is an imperative sentence. So at the end we use the punctuation. Full stop. The second point for full stop is, it is used in some abbreviations. Now, abbreviations means short forms. For example, AM. Other example is PM. So in some short forms we use full stop. Then third one is in websites and email addresses. In websites, for example, www.gmail.com. In email address, abc@gmail.com. So in website and email addresses, we use full stop. Fourth point is in brackets and quotation marks, full stop is used inside it. So when you use a bracket or when you use a quotation mark, okay, the full stop will always be inside the bracket. For example, she said, comma, starting the inverted comma, I am hungry, full stop, and then close the inverted comma. Our next punctuation is comma. The first point is to mark a short pause in the sentence. Now, if you want to give a small stop or a short pause in the sentence, in between the sentence, we use comma. For example, 3 months later, comma, it was all forgotten. So, 3 months later, that is not a sentence. It is just a part of a sentence. So after that you wanted a small pause, so you put a comma after that. Second one, to list things. Example, I went and bought bread, jam, butter and juice. So to give a few things together, the few different things together, we use comma. For example, you can just see after bread, comma, jam, comma, butter and juice. Our third point is to separate part of a long sentence which contains but or and. Now if you have two long sentences and the two long sentences are joined by using but or and, before these words you will use comma. For example, the teacher gave the instruction, comma, and the children must obey it. So the first sentence was the teacher gave the instruction and the children must obey it is the second sentence. So we used and to join the two sentences. So before and we will use comma. So let us continue commas now. The fourth point is in salutations and closing of a letter. So when you write a letter in the salutation, that is where you write dear sir or dear ma'am, dear friend, dear father, after that you will use comma. And also the closing of the letter, when you close the letter like yours faithfully, yours truly, after that also you will use comma. The fifth point is it is used in direct speech before the exact words of the speaker. So before the exact words or after the exact words of the speaker, you will use a comma. For example, she said, comma, inverted comma, I am hungry, full stop, and close the inverted comma. So before the exact words of the speaker, we use the comma. Our next punctuation is capital letters. First point, it is used for proper noun and at the beginning of a sentence. Now, as we all know, we use capital letter at the beginning of a sentence. When we begin a sentence, we use a capital letter. It is also used for proper nouns. Now, proper nouns are special nouns, special names. It can be name of a person, place, it can be name of an animal, it can be name of a thing. So, but it should be special, then only it will become proper noun. For example, Pooja and Leah are best friends. Now we started Pooja P capital because it was the beginning of a sentence, and also Pooja is a proper noun. Leah is capital because Leah is a proper noun. Second one, he is the best boy in school. H is capital because it is in the beginning of a sentence. Our second point is to begin each line of a poetry. Now, when you take a poem, every line of the poem begins with a capital letter. You can check any book, any poem, every line of the poem begins with a capital letter. The third point is the first word in a direct quotation. Now, when you write something in inverted commas or direct quotation, the first word will always be capital letter. For example, he said, my mother is going to the market. So, the first word inside the inverted comma is my. So, M will be capital. The fourth point is the pronoun I and interjection O. Now the word I and O, wherever you write, let it be in the beginning of a sentence or in the middle of the sentence, wherever you write it, it will always remain capital. Fifth point is abbreviations. Abbreviations are short forms. Some abbreviations, not all, okay? Some abbreviations they use capital letters. For example, UNO, United Nations Organization, USA, United States of America, UK, United Kingdom. So for some abbreviations, we use capital letter. The sixth point is the nouns and pronouns referring to God. Now, when you talk about God, if you use a noun for the God or if you use a pronoun for the God, okay, it will always be capital letter.